Hey, it's Mark Andrews with another in the CFOA instructional series. We are going to cover roughing the kicker this time. These videos have been reviewed by referees in both Orange County and San Diego, as well as myself. I'm the instructional chairman for Orange County, and Steve Coover, who's the instructional chairman for San Diego and the California rules interpreter. Okay, so just to give you a little background, these first 5 plays have been calibrated. They've been judged by the referees in both San Diego and Orange County as to whether we've got roughing the kicker, running into the kicker, or no foul. And of course, there's disagreement, and so the intent here is to just give you some tools to work with when you're making this judgment. Now, obviously, it's the referee that makes this call, and you may not be a varsity referee, but you might be doing lower level games where you're the referee. Notice where the referee's standing. He is looking straight into the holder. That's a great position. That's where you want to be. All right. So let's take a look at the definition. So running into or roughing the kicker or holder, a defensive player shall neither run into the kicker or holder, which is contact that displaces the kicker or the holder, without roughing. So that's kind of weird, right? That's kind of but what they're saying is, if you've got displacement, which means you've moved the person, whether it's the holder or the kicker. We're concentrating on the kicker here, so let's just stay with the kicker. Then you might have running into the kicker. It's judgment. Nor block, tackle, charge into the kicker of a scrimmage kick or a place kick holder, other than where, and this is, again, this is what you've got to process. Contact is unavoidable because it's not reasonably certain that a kick will be made. The defense touches the kick near the kicker, and contact is unavoidable. Contact is slight and is partially caused by movement of the kicker, and contact is caused by R being blocked into the kicker or holder by K. So if the kicking team blocks the defense player into the kicker, we're not going to call a foul. And we're going to see something kind of like that in one of these plays. All right, I am going to turn off all the annotations now and let you watch the play. I'll run it a couple of times. Okay, let's go back. I'm not going to go all the way back because the guy takes his time. Let's go in slow motion here. Okay, so you can see that the defender who's trying to block the kick rolls, strikes the foot of the kicker. Okay, so if you want, take a vote for yourself, and then we will discuss what what the referees and Mr. Coover have to say about this, and myself. All right. So roughing, running into, or no foul. Okay, so this is Mr. Coover's comments, and I agree with them. The contact is correctly judged to be slight, and thus is neither roughing nor running into the kicker. 41 crew chiefs ruled no foul, while only 5 ruled running into the kicker. Roughing equals block, tackle, or charging into the kicker or holder. especially when that contact with the plant leg. And we'll talk about that. So contact with the plant leg is definitely, the standard goes up for roughing. In other words, we don't want defender contacting the kicker's plant leg. It's very dangerous. Running into is contact that displaces the kicker, unless, and we've already talked about this. All right. In Orange County, we had one person that thought this was roughing the kicker, 2 that thought it was running into the kicker, and 20 that thought it was no foul. We had 23 of our 27 crew chiefs participating in this calibration. So you can see the consensus generally is that this is no foul. I agree with that assessment, and frankly I would have a very hard time supporting a running into, and I definitely wouldn't support a roughing call. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we started you off with an easy one. They get tougher from here. So again, question, roughing the kicker, running into the kicker, or no foul. Let me turn off all the annotations so you can just watch this thing in real time. Whoops. And here we go. Whoa, go back. Okay. Let's run it in slow motion. Now, this is, I hate that thing. This is the player in question that possibly commits the roughing. Okay. I'll let you watch that one more time. Okay, go ahead and vote. You know, you can just write it down. And also, I would advise you to, put down a reason for the call, whatever your decision is. Put a reason down. Okay, let's turn on the annotations. We'll bring it down here. There's our guy. I'm not sure why that's there. I think he's just pointing out the angle that the referee has. Okay, so 29 crew chiefs in San Diego judge this to be no foul. 5 judge it to be roughing, and 3 judge it to be running into the kicker. In Orange County, we had 4 roughing, 9 running into, and 10 no foul. So I want to show, I agree this is not a foul. And the reason why is because it's not the defensive player that actually makes the initial contact. This guy's getting bull rushed, and if you notice right there, he pins the plant leg, and of course now the incidental contact by the defender, because this guy's trapped, and I know this looks bad, and would I support a roughing call? Probably not. I would probably say this is inconclusive, but I really feel this is one that should just be let go. Okay, so let's see what Steve's comments include. Okay, the consensus was the contact with the kicking leg was actually by his own blocker and as he rolled backward from the bull rush. There was some contact by the defender to the kicking leg, but due to the contact by the blocker, it's difficult to judge if it would be a foul or not. In this case, no foul. So Steve agrees with me. You certainly wouldn't. No one would criticize you overly if you made this call as a roughing call, because it is ugly. But I think the point here is you want to slow down, process the play, and really, be sure before you throw that flag. All right, let's move on. Okay, this next play, I think this is the more common type of contact that we see between the defense and kicker. Let's take a look at this in real time. Watch the right side of the defensive line. Okay. So we've got an overload to the right here, and I don't think the kicking team really responds that well to it. But watch, pretty sure it's this guy. And he leaps, make the block, and he's not really close. And now he rolls and just takes out the kicker. Okay, so I think we'd all be in agreement that this is something, right? There's definitely displacement. The problem with this particular angle is we can't see, where he hits him particularly. It looks like he takes out the kicking leg first and then the plant leg. I'm not sure that's really that important. So, vote, tell me why, and then we'll go back and take a look and see what referees in Orange County and San Diego say. All right, turn on the annotations. Okay, so again, roughing the kicker, running into, or no foul. And it's that guy right there. Okay, in San Diego, it was a split, almost 50-50. 21 for roughing, 21 running into. Well, that is 50-50. My glasses need adjustment. I thought that was a 24. In Orange County, we had 18 roughing, 4 running into, and we had one that said no foul. I'm not sure why we would have no foul on that play. I think we can all agree there's something there. Steve says, philosophy tells us that when in question, you elevate to roughing, and I believe that would be the correct call. And I believe that too. I would probably support either call, just because, again, I'm not there. The referee has the better angle. You can see a flag on the ground, so he called something. But roughing, this looks like a roughing play to me, and this guy could definitely be hurt, right? All right, let's move on. All right, here's our next play. Steve has just done such a great job of putting together these 5 plays that sort of represent most of what we see from the kicking game. So this is the what we're seeing more of, the rugby-style kicker. And there's some misunderstanding as regards to when a player becomes a kicker. Well, the rule book says a kicker is any player who legally punts, drop kicks, or place kicks. A player becomes a kicker when his knee, lower leg, or foot makes contact with the ball. So, in this case, he starts out as a runner, right? He's still a runner. He's still a runner. Right there. He's a kicker. Okay? And he is now afforded protection until he regains his balance. Now let's watch this player right here. I'm going to get my arrow instead of my wiggly line. Now he is looking straight at that kick. He knows this ball has been kicked. Watch his actions. Leg is still off the ground. Gives him a nice shove while he's already off balance. Hits the ground pretty hard. Watch it in real time. Okay. So let's take a look and see what the referees have to say. Okay, the majority of the crew chiefs judged this to be roughing the kicker, approximately 43%, while 32% felt it was running into the kicker and 24% said it was no foul. It is definitely a foul, and the correct ruling according to the calibration process is roughing the kicker. I support that consensus 100%. That's Steve's words, but I will mirror them. I support that consensus as well. In Orange County, we had 9 roughing the kicker, 6 running into the kicker, and 8 no foul. And as I said, this is definitely a foul. All right, let's move on. Okay, guys, this play is nuts. I'm going to show it to you several times. Let's just look at it first. You get an initial judgment. Now, how in the world that guy got that kickoff, I will never know. Let's take a look at it in slow motion. Obviously, he muffs the punt, or the snap, and number 25 here is off to the races, completely unblocked. Okay, now, initially, when I looked at this play, I went, well, that's, he's, he hasn't kicked the ball. The kick and the contact are simultaneous. I don't know how you could judge roughing on this. Okay, so let's go back and turn on annotations, and I'll tell you what. Make your vote now, and I don't want to give it away, but there's a possibility that there's a different kind of foul here. So let me let me run it one more time. Okay, we'll do it slow motion. Okay. All right, let's turn the annotations on. So you see the other option, excessive contact to a defenseless player. I think there's another foul that we should be considering, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, there's a guy, and Steve's pointing out the position of the referee here. He is straight lined on this contact. So who can get this foul if it is indeed a foul? Now, let me make it very clear that we do not want non-referees calling roughing the kicker, all right? But if you look at this closely, watch 25's helmet. Lowers it, puts it right into the chest, right underneath the helmet, and I watch his head. Look at that. That's indicative of targeting. When we see, even if the initial contact isn't at the helmet, the follow through pushes the head back. It's just as damaging. And my opinion is this is a targeting foul. And who can get that? This guy right there. In San Diego, they put their line judge down with the back judge. So this is the guy's only flank official. He got a lot of work to do. I can understand how he could miss it, but he's supposed to keep an eye on. Well, he's supposed to keep an eye on everything. Head linesman's job is so hard because I'm a head linesman. Okay. So Steve points out when they originally calibrated this, they didn't take into consideration a personal foul for excessive contact. Seeing that a player does not become a kicker until his foot contacts the ball, this contact is just prior to the foot coming into contact with the ball. There's no foul for roughing. After the calibration was split between roughing and no foul, we took a collective look at the actual contact with the player who we all agreed was in a defenseless posture. The contact was with the crown of the helmet and was in a manner that thrust upward to the head and neck area, causing the head to snap backwards. New consensus was personal foul, excessive contact. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I would call it targeting, but personal foul, excessive contact on a defenseless player, that easily supportable, either one. Okay, so here we are. We're watching for roughing or running into, and suddenly there's another foul that we didn't anticipate, and we get surprised, which is every official's nightmare. I'm not blaming anybody for this non-call. It is a tough position, especially without two flanks. So, but again, keep this in mind. That other things can happen, and maybe that referee being a little wider could have got that. Just something to think about. All right, let's move on. Okay, these next few plays weren't calibrated, but I thought we could show a few more. This is a huge game from a couple of years ago. This is two of the top teams in Southern California playing each other. Watch on the left side of the defensive line, that player right there. Okay, let's go back slow-mo. So there was no flag on this play, and I think I understand why. It's after the kick. The kid's just kind of bouncing on one foot. But if you watch the actions of the defender, he does not let up, and there's definitely displacement. And, like it or not, the kicker is still in a defenseless position. So let me digress here for a moment. You guys probably aren't aware of this, but I always send Steve Coover a copy of these plays of the week before I publish them, just so I don't screw something up. And so in my original recording, I said, I don't know if this is roughing the kicker. I think it may be running into the kicker. And obviously this crew didn't call anything. When I sent that to Steve, he was adamant that this was roughing the kicker. Okay, so let's take another look at this and see what Steve is seeing. Run it in slow motion here. Watch that guy. Now he leaps, and then that action right there, I think, is the roughing. When he lands, he continues into the kicker, and I don't think that's just unavoidable contact. I think he's trying to deliver a blow. Watch it. Boom. And he has a responsibility, of course, to avoid contact with that kicker. And the kicker is obviously not settled. So the more I look at this, the more I think he's right. And man, where he hits him, that is dangerous. So, okay, Steve wants this to be a roughing call. It's a roughing call. All right, this is going to be a quickie. This really isn't a controversial call. There is contact, but the punter muffs the ball. I'm going to turn off annotations just real quick here. Watch it in real time. So he muffs. They're going after him. Not a lot of heavy contact. I think that's a good no call. When I showed this to Steve, the first thing he said was, "What in the heck is this guy doing?" So in Orange County, we allow our umpires to go into the backfield on punts, and that's fine. If you're going to be in the backfield on a punt, great. But what are you doing here? You know, he should be about there. I think you can barely see the referee's foot right there. So they need to be taking complementary angles, right? And he's in no man's land. So if you're going to work that side of the ball as an umpire, make sure you have the right angle. You don't want to be short like this. All right. Okay, I've got 3 more plays to show you. I'm sorry this has run long. We're almost up to a half an hour. But I think this is an important topic. Watch this one, see what you think. Okay, I hope you all saw that. Run it back in slow-mo. Now, if we can't get a roughing call on that play, then we don't know what roughing is. And the referee called roughing the kicker on that. I just showed you that to show you just the generic roughing call. I mean, that one's obvious. These next 2 are obvious as well. Here we have the snap over the kicker's head. And scramble, scramble, scramble. And then again, he's almost a kicker, but he's not a kicker yet. And this guy is trying to tackle him. And that's not a big hit. He actually, I think, recognizes at the last minute that he is kicking it and just kind of gives him contact with the hands. This is nothing. This shouldn't be called anything. It is a kick, right? So what do we have here? I mean, we got the ball loose behind the line of scrimmage. A can pick that ball up if it doesn't go out of bounds, which it does. But if that had stayed in bounds and A picked it up and started to run, that'd be perfectly legal. Okay, keep that in mind. Always remember, a scrimmage kick that does not pass the line of scrimmage is live and can be advanced. Not only can they advance the ball, they could kick it again, or they could throw a forward pass. All those are legal as long as the ball is behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, here's the last one. Again, not a real hard one to judge. Boom, he gets hit before he kicks the ball, right? So this is he's tackling him. Again, he gets the kick off, pretty impressive. But again, there's nothing illegal about the hit, and actually a very good tackle. And so we'll just let this go, Now remember, that motion by the receiver, that is an invalid fair catch signal. We are not going to throw a flag unless somebody attempts to advance, but that is invalid. Well, that'll do it for this episode of OCFOA Plays of the Week. Hey, I know this was long. I apologize. I really thought this was an important topic, and I thought we had some really good examples of roughing and running into and non-calls. I got a feeling I'm going to get a lot of comments. That's fine. Try to keep them positive in terms of, just try to keep them instructional, I guess is a better way to put it. If you like this video and you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so by clicking on my picture, and you'll take you to my YouTube page. Click on the red subscribe button, and then you'll get notified every time I release a new video. If you've missed any of the previous plays of the week, just click on that link on the left. It'll take you to a playlist and you can watch them to your heart's content. All right, everybody, stay safe. This is Mark Andrews signing off.